Chapter 1, Episode 1st of Tartarin of Tarascon. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Nadine Eckhart-Boulet. Tartarin of Tarascon by Alphonse Daudet. Episode the 1st. In Tarascon. Chapter 1. The Garden Round the Giant Trees. My first visit to Tartarin of Tarascon has remained a never-to-be-forgotten date in my life. Although quite 10 or a dozen years ago, I remember it better than yesterday. At that time the intrepid Tartarin lived in the third house on the left as the town begins, on the Avignon road. A pretty little villa in the local style, with a front garden and a balcony behind, the walls glaringly white and the Venetians very green, and always about the doorsteps a brood of little Savoyard shoe-blackguards playing hopscotch, or dozing in the broad sunshine with their heads pillowed on their boxes. Outwardly the dwelling had no remarkable features, and none would ever believe it the abode of a hero. But when you stepped inside, ye gods and little fishes, what a change! From turret to foundation stone, I mean from cellar to garret, the whole building wore a heroic front. Even so the garden. Oh, that garden of Tartarin's! There's not its match in Europe. Not a native tree was there, not one flower of France, nothing but exotic plants, gum trees, gourds, cottonwoods, cocoa and cacao, mangoes, bananas, palms, a baobab, nopals, cacti, Barbary figs. Well, you would believe yourself in the very midst of Central Africa, 10,000 leagues away. It is but fair to say that these were none of full growth. Indeed, the cocoa palms were no bigger than beetroot, and the baobab, Arbus gigantea, giant tree, you know, was easily enough circumscribed by a window pot. But, notwithstanding this, it was rather a sensation for Tarascon, and the townsfolk who were admitted on Sundays to the honor of contemplating Tartarin's baobab went home chokeful of admiration. Try to conceive my own emotion, which I was bound to feel on that day of days when I crossed through this marvelous garden, and that was capped when I was ushered into the hero's sanctum. His study, one of the lions, I should say lions' dens, of the town, was at the end of the garden, its glass door opening right on to the baobab. You are to picture a capacious apartment, adorned with firearms and steel blades from top to bottom. All the weapons of all the countries in the wide world: carbines, rifles, blunderbusses, Corsican, Catalan, and dagger knives, Malay creeses, revolvers with spring bayonets, Carib and flint arrows, knuckle dusters, life preservers, Hottentot clubs, Mexican lassos. Now, can you expect me to name the rest? Upon the whole fell a fierce sunlight, which made the blades and the brass butt-plate of the muskets gleam as if all the more to set your flesh creeping. Still, the beholder was soothed a little by the tame air of order and tidiness reigning over the arsenal. Everything was in place, brushed, dusted, labeled, as in a museum. From point to point the eye descried some obliging little card reading, "Poisoned arrows, do not touch," or "Loaded, take care, please." If it had not been for these cautions, I never should have dared venture in. In the middle of the room was an occasional table, on which stood a decanter of rum, a siphon of soda water, a Turkish tobacco pouch, Captain Cook's Voyages, the Indian tales of Fenimore Cooper and Gustave Aimard, stories of hunting the bear, eagle, elephant, and so on. Lastly, beside the table sat a man of between 40 and 45, short, stout, thick-set, ruddy, with flaming eyes and a strong stubbly beard. He wore flannel tights, and was in his shirt-sleeves. One hand held a book, and the other brandished a very large pipe with an iron ball cap. Whilst reading heaven only knows what startling adventure of scalp hunters, he pouted out his lower lip in a terrifying way, which gave the honest phiz of the man living placidly on his means the same impression of kindly ferocity which abounded throughout the house. This man was Tartarin himself, the Tartarin of Tarascon, the great, dreadnought, incomparable Tartarin of Tarascon. End of Chapter 1 of Episode the First.